So outside of like the Mario games, this guy is really demanding all of these games be ported onto the Switch. So what are these games? And we'll be telling you how unlikely these games will be poured on the Nintendo Switch 2. The Halo trilogy. Well, if you want to play the Halo trilogy, just play it on the PC or Xbox. They're not gonna port it to the Switch 2. Okay, the old Doom games. Well, again, if you really want to play these games, they're available on Steam or on Xbox. Okay, it would be pretty cool if they did have the first two games, but Doom 64, the game I think a lot of people didn't really care about. Half Life, that's not happening. Stalker, that's not happening. And Metal Gear, that could possibly happen. But Metal Gear is a very popular series. But did they already port these games on the original Switch? I think these are the first games I'll play likely because they ported these games to the Switch. If the Switch 2 is backwards compatible to the Switch 1, well, these games are playable, will most definitely be playable. Same thing with Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8 and Final Fantasy 9. I think these games are ported to the Switch. Same thing with Dark Souls 1 and 2. I think that these games will be playable on the Switch 2 simply for being ported to the Switch. Next is the Mario, Galaxy, Mario Sunshine, or Mario 64. Well, if you own the Mario 3D collection, well, good news for you. Every rumor says the Switch 2 is backwards compatible with the Switch 1, which means these games will be playable on the Switch. Also, I wouldn't be too surprising if every single Switch Online game is backwards compatibility, which means Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time will be backwards compatible along with Mario 64, as all those games will be backwards compatible with the Switch. Next is the original Resident Evil trilogy. I don't know if these games are on the Switch or not. I think there's a definitely port the remakes on there because they remade Resident Evil 1 to 3. But the original versions of Resident Evil I'll probably play unlikely if they're not on the Switch eShop already. Unless Capcom makes a cat Resident Evil Classic Collection, I think the more likely route to do is to port all of the old Resident Evil remake versions on the Switch. So they're unlikely. Older Sonic games, well, they have kind of stopped porting the old Sonic games to newer hardware. Sonic Unleashed could get a remake, so Sonic Unleashed, it could happen. Considering they're remaking a Sonic Generations, they remade Sonic Colors. Sonic Unleashed is kind of like one of the games that might be next. I think next they're remaking Sonic Heroes, but Sonic Unleashed is a game that a lot of people adore. Yeah, the critics may not like it, but a lot of the fans of Sonic adore it. So I think it's a game that will probably be on the Switch 2 sometime in its lifetime. A remake of Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, are those games on the original Switch? No, those games are not on the Switch, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Nintendo Switch subscription eventually does include Dreamcast games. Considering they have Sega Genesis games on there. And Nintendo and Sega, what used to be like enemies and rivals, are now like great pals because, of course, Sega is the company that used to be like it's kind of like a brother of Nintendo. I kind of see Nintendo and Sega as brothers. At the very beginning, they fought, but they realized that they're brothers, and they are gonna be together for the very end. Okay, even when Nintendo was at the lowest of the Wii U, Sega still put Sonic games on the Wii U. I think they'll probably eventually put Dreamcast games on Nintendo Switch Online, which means Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 will probably be on the Switch 2. Almost. Probably pretty likely. Wind Waker is one of the most requested games to get a remake. Probably would happen. Dark Souls 3 will probably port. They have the first two games backwards compatible. Third game seems pretty likely. I think all the old Final Fantasy games are already on there, and Pokemon will eventually come on there. So now I'll be doing the actual here. So we'll be doing this XXX. Okay. I don't know if the old Doom games are on there, so we'll be doing a question mark. Doom 64. Stalker is not happening. I'm sorry for you. And Half-Life is not happening. The games that we know are going to be on there, Metal Gear Trilogy, Mario Collection, the Final Fantasy games, Dark Souls 1 and 2, like these are games that are almost confirmed to be on the Switch 2, okay? And we'll be using a likely, like the old Pokemon games, Sonic Unleashed will probably get these games will probably get remake. Sonic Unleashed will probably get a remake. Dark Souls 3 will be probably on there. And Resident Evil, I think these games, the remake versions, might go on there. And that is it about this video. So yeah. All these games will not be on the Switch 2. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And there we go. About this video. Goodbye.